Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Amanda Tucker. How you guys doing on today? Listen, let me get straight to the point. All right. Anyway, what's up, everybody? It's your girl Amanda Tucker. As you guys know, I am currently in a season of waiting for marriage, so therefore I have to be patient. Halle. Sometimes the patience can be a little bit overwhelming, but you can get through it, okay? Just like I'm getting through it. In the meantime, though, I am using this waiting season to learn as much as I can, not only about marriage, but about communication, about words you speak, and just different things, right? And so I want to share 12 strategies. All right, I am in a season of learning. So I am the student, Jesus is the teacher. So I want to share these things with you as well. These are 12 strategies to having a better communication, not just with your future significant other, but with people in general, even along with God, okay? Everything I do, I always include God. So I'm going to give you 12 strategies along with Bible scripture to back it up, okay? So we're going to get to it, all right? So number one, and I got my handy dandy notes. Number one is to relax. When we are having communication, like I said, regardless if it's with your future significant other, with a friend, with whoever, a lot of times when we are having uncomfortable conversation, it becomes obvious that the conversation is about to get real. The conversation is about to get uncomfortable, right? And so when we have those types of communication with whoever we are having it with, we want to be able to make sure that we are relaxed in that communication, all right? We want to make sure, because there is nothing worse than having a tense conversation while being stressed. Stress boosts up negativity. Stress boosts up negative words. And you want to be able to be calm in that communication, and you want to be able to relax. So relax. The scripture for that is Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Let me repeat that again. Philippians, not Psalms. Philippians 4, 6, and 7. Stay present. When you are present in the conversation, that means your ears are on, right? That means you are staying in tune with the conversation. Regardless of how the conversation may be or what the conversation may be about, you want to stay present. If you find that your mind is drifting, let's be honest, there has been many times where we have been in communication with anybody and our minds just tends to drift away. One, either because we ain't trying to hear what they are trying to say, two, the conversation is boring, or three, we have 1,000,001 other things that is on our mind. But when that happens, you have to bring those thoughts back. Bring it back. Reel it back in, sis. Remember, you are trying to get this conversation over with, and you are trying to make sure you resolve any issues or any conflict with that particular person. The scripture for this is Matthew 6 and 34. Matthew 6, verse 34. Number 3, cultivate in silence. Quieting outside noises, quieting distractions, quieting that inner voice. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? You know, the outside voice where you have everybody and their mama giving you opinions on how the conversation should go, what you should say, what you should do, right? Then you got that inner noise. You know how the enemy be trying to be like, see, I told this person, blah, 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 blah. Quiet those things. Quiet it. Please quiet those noises, because once you quiet those noises, you'll be able to listen better. You'll be able to hear cues that you may need to hear and different things like that. So yeah, the scripture for that is Psalms 46 verse 10. Let me repeat that. Psalms 46 verse 10. Number 4, be positive. Like, seriously. Yeah, I gotta sip my coffee on that one. become positive. Like, regardless of what, let's say for instance, if you are having a moment with your future significant other, or whoever you having your issue with, right? You always want to remain positive. There was times back in the day, back in the day, where that was not even okay in my category, or even in my vocabulary. Okay, like, when I wanted to say something, I said it without filters, without really giving second or third look to it. I would just say how I felt, because I felt like, you know what, I'm just going to express how I feel. That's how I feel. And that's not always a good thing, sis. That's not a good thing. So you want to first think before you speak. You want to be wise on that. Think before you speak. And be positive. Like, even if the conversation may be a little bit difficult to handle or what have you, become positive in there. Because remember, you not only building trust, but you are building ways to resolve conflict. So be positive. That's Proverbs 16 verse 24. Number 5, reflect on your deepest value. Remember why the conversation is important to you. Like, why are you even having this conversation in the first place? Usually when we have conversations, it's important to us. Why? Because we want to talk about it. We either want to resolve it, we want to figure out why the conversation was needed in the first place, what caused us to be where we are, and different things like that, right? So it's a reason for that conversation. Halle. It's a reason for that conversation. So you want to remember why that conversation is important to you. And usually when you remember when something is important to you, guess what? You tend to be present, which goes back to number 2. You remain present in that conversation, right? Because you want to make sure that, you know what, this is taken care of, especially if you are having issues with your future significant other. You definitely want to remain present there. You definitely want to make sure that your mind is not wandering. You definitely want to make sure that you cultivate that inner silence, those inner noises, outer noises, so that you can really keen into what he is saying to you, and vice versa, right? Again, you want to reflect on why that conversation is important to you. Usually if you are dealing with your future significant other, or if you're in a friendship with your future significant other, or if you're in a friendship period, that person who you are talking to is important to you. Why? Because you are having a conversation. We don't have a conversation with people who we really don't care about, right? Not too often. But definitely you want to remember why that conversation is important to you. And that scripture is Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23. Access pleasant memory. That's number 6. Access pleasant memory. Now, I'll be honest, ain't too many times that I have done that, conversating with people, thinking about like memories, you know, good memories, but it kind of makes sense to me, you know, because usually when you are having a conversation, whether it's not a good one or, you know, usually when you're having a great conversation, of course, good memories come up. But when you're having like a conversation that is of conflict, not too many times will you think of great memories with that, right? You tend to think of the negative memories, or what brought you to this conflict, this disagreement, this disarray of a relationship, right? But if you start thinking about the positive, if you start thinking about the great memories you two had or have in that conversation, it will actually lighten up the mood in the conversation. It will actually bring clarity and light to that conversation. Because a lot of times when we are in conflict with our future significant other or our friend, whatever, you know what I'm saying, or even with God, you know what I'm saying, when we tend to have those types of conversation, we tend to think negative, and we cannot do that, right? So we got to remember those pleasant, godly memories of that person, so that when we have those types of communication, that we can lighten the load, have a great mood, and different things. The scripture for that one is Psalms 103 verse 2. Psalms 103 verse 2. Number 7, observe non-verbal cues. I have heard that body language speaks louder than words. I can see that. I can definitely see that. Have you ever tried to talk to somebody, and before you even open up your mouth, they looking like what do you want? Automatically you like nah sis, I ain't talking to you. You'll walk away, right? You may just disregard that whole conversation, even though you know the conversation can be very beneficial, but because of the nonverbal cues, you automatically gonna turn away. Well, guess what? If you are talking to your future significant other in that manner, 9 times out of 10, they gonna pick that up. They ain't gonna be like, I ain't dealing with you today. Nah, sis, we ain't talking today. And you know, when you are dealing with your future significant other, you don't want to be like that. You want to be able to what's the word? Be welcoming, right? You want to be welcoming. You want to be able to express what needs to be expressed, but on a more positive manner, right? Yes, your blood may be boiling from whatever the situation may be, but remember, number 1, you have to relax, and be like, you know what? I want to resolve this the best that I can. So let me woosah. So allow your non-verbal cues to be relaxed and welcoming, so that the conversation can be had. All right. If I could be honest, I remember. Hold on, y'all. My sister calling me. All right. I forget where I was. So yeah, you want to be very welcoming. Okay. Don't have that attitude. And things like that. I remember back in the day, my voice would say it all, or what have you. So, yeah. So make sure your nonverbal cues are positive and welcoming. The scripture for that is Proverbs 20 verse 12. Number 8, express appreciation. Show gratitude in the conversation, right? Like before you even have that type of conversation, whatever conversation you may have, express gratitude. Show appreciation, right? Gratitude's lighten up the mood, lighten up the load. So definitely you want to show gratitude. The scripture for that one is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 18. Number 9, speak warmly. It disarms defense. Have you ever just aggressively spoke and automatically people got offended, right? So we don't want that in our conversations, right? Not even with our future significant other or with anybody. We want to definitely make sure that we speak warm. Colossians 4 and 6 is the scripture for that one. Speak slowly. You know, a lot of times when we have conflict and different things like that, we want to make sure we say everything we got to say. So we start going from A to Z in 5 seconds. But we want to make sure that we are heard, and we want to make sure they are hearing us. So the scripture for that one is James 1 and 19. Speak briefly. Get to the point. You know what I'm saying? Stop going around in circles. Just get straight to the point. The scripture for that one is Proverbs 10 and 19, chapter 10, verse 19. We definitely want to make sure that we do that, okay? And number 12, listen, we definitely got to make sure that we have a keen ear. We got to make sure that we are listening. Not only are they listening to us, but we make sure that we are listening to them. All right. And the scripture for that one is Proverbs 18 verse 13. So I hope and pray that this blesses you. This is what God taught me, and so I wanted to share with you guys as well. All right. Peace out.